Hi, I'm Dr. Desiree Cox. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel and for so many of you who reached out to me with kind words and with advice on social media and what to do and how to help. Thank you so much for your advice. I've really taken all of that on board. Many of you asked me to say a bit about myself, like who am I? Especially people who know me wanted me to share more of my story and why I'm doing this, who I'm talking to, and why it's so important. And so I'm just taking a few moments to do that before we start recording the materials for the Healing University. And just to say a bit about that. So I started off at McGill University. I was curious, I am still curious about the world, how the world works, and I specialized in quantum mechanics, quantum chemistry, and then went on to Oxford to study medicine. And everything was fine until I hit the clinic. And this is about, it's about almost 30 years ago. I've been in the healthcare profession for that long. So I hit the clinic, and I cannot describe this to you except it occurred to me as it was so primitive, that medicine was so primitive, and it wasn't because the machines couldn't do the things that I thought they should be able to do, or the diagnostic capacity was not there, or the tests. I was studying at Oxford University, one of the top medical schools in the world, but it was as if I had seen another system and was plonked back, and I just had an instinct, it was a feeling, that this medicine we were doing was so primitive. And I was fortunate enough to be studying medicine as a Rhodes Scholar, and so when I began to talk about that to my Rhodes Scholar colleagues, they introduced me to people like Thomas Kuhn, to Susan Sontag, Oliver Sacks, people who had been writing about medicine and the medical system from a different perspective. And I narrowed and honed down what it was I wanted to look at. And it was the randomized controlled clinical trial as a window into how we got the medical system that we got. How did it come to be? Why did it come to look like this? What were the social, cultural, political, methodological issues that actually shaped this randomized clinical trial and shaped the biomedical system we have? So I went on to Cambridge after studying medicine, and I went and did my master's and my PhD looking at that more specifically, and I specialized. I went to begin to specialize in medicine in London. And as I'm specializing and following the traditional path, I just had this internal instinct that this was not my life, that my path was something else. And so I moved on to, I left clinical medicine, and I began to find my way in this world that was entrepreneurial. I didn't know it was entrepreneurial. I hadn't studied that. I didn't know what that was. I just knew that my path was on the side of regenerative, preventive medicine, and I wanted to help people not require the tertiary medical care that we could provide, so that there was self-efficacy, that they were able to regenerate themselves and create the path and the life they wanted to. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know where to go for that. And so over the last 15 years, I've been a professional. I've been a healthcare professional. I've been a professor of medicine. I've consulted to pharmaceutical companies. I've done all sorts of different things, each with a different window and a vista into medicine. My PhD was looking at the system. So